This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Roxas. On the Scorecard tonight, Barangay Ginebra survives Converge in overtime, 99-98, as Stephen Holt buries a buzzer-beating 3 to lift the Gin Kings into the PBA Philippine Cup semifinals. The Japanese monster Naoya Inoue puts on another masterclass in Riyadh, cruising past Alan Picasso to defend his undisputed super bantamweight crown and stay perfect at 32-0. Choco Mucho hits the reset button, announcing the departures of Aduke, Ogunsanya, and Bilyonaryo as the Flying Titans begin a major roster overhaul. A gritty Alex Eala bows to world number 9 Mirra Andreeva 4-6-2-6 in their Macau Tennis Masters singles clash. Cena's farewell match resonates beyond the ring, inspiring former WWE stars Chaz and Thrasher of the Headbangers to rethink how they close their own careers. All the headlines and more on the Scorecard tonight, the 29th of December. Now, here's our roundup. Stephen Holt delivered in the biggest moment, drilling a buzzer-beating 3 as Barangay Ginebra edged Converge 99-98 in overtime of a do-or-die PBA Philippine Cup quarterfinal. The clutch shot capped Ginebra's trademark never-say-die run and sent the Gin Kings charging into the semifinals. Here are the details from Zeus Valdez.
A winner-take-all classic ended in heartbreak for Converge and another escape act for Barangay Ginebra San Miguel, as the Gin Kings survived the Fiber-Xers 99-98 in the quarterfinals of the PBA Season 15 Philippine Cup Sunday night at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. After the game, Ginebra head coach Tim Cone zeroed in on one of the night's biggest storylines, the high-level guard duel between Ronjay Abarientos and Juan Gomez de Leaño. Cone said the battle was compelling, with both players showing their ability to control tempo, create shots, and carry an offense when it mattered most.
Yeah, they were competing, and they've been competing every time we come out and play. So, they're both great offensive players. They can both shoot it. They can both create their own shots. They can create shots for other people. What can I say? They're both great players, and it's fun for the fans to see them out there going back and forth at each other.
Cone also highlighted a key shift in Abarientos' approach, noting that Ginebra is at its best when the young guard plays with greater offensive aggression, a style Cone compared to that of Abarientos' ankle PBA legend Johnny Abarientos, saying RJ is a natural scorer who can sometimes limit himself by playing too safe as a traditional point guard.
Well, he's a scorer. That's really who he is. Like I keep saying, he's more than just a point guard. And the same with Johnny Abarientos, his uncle. His uncle we always had to tell Johnny to score because he had such a great ability to score, but he was always trying to play a traditional point guard and get the ball to other people and make other people feel good.
That mindset paid off in the final seconds when Abarientos drew defensive attention before kicking the ball out to Stephen Holt, who drained the game-winning 3 at the buzzer, erasing Converge twice to beat advantage and sending Ginebra into the semifinals.
And I think the more he looks for a shot, like tonight, he was looking for a shot. They went out and tried to stop him. He was able to pass to Stephen, and Stephen was able to make the big shot. So the more threat he is, the better he creates for other people.
Abarientos finished with 20 points to lead the Gin Kings, with Stephen Holt contributing 9 points, including the shot that mattered most. On the other side, Gomez de Leaño stood tall for Converge, pouring in 25 points in a breakout playoff performance in a duel that captured the attention of fans and coaches alike. With the win, Ginebra advances to a best-of-7 semi-final series against defending champion San Miguel Beermen beginning January 3. Cone acknowledged the size of the challenge ahead, noting that the Beermen's veteran core led by Junmar Fajardo, Chris Ross, and Marcio Lassiter has yet to show any signs of slowing down.
It's a tough road against them. We know that. It's all about getting prepared and ready. we keep waiting for Junmar, especially, and Chris, Ross, and Marshall Lassiter. Keep waiting for those guys to slow down, and they don't slow down at all. They just keep coming and coming and coming. They're great players. They've been great players for a long time, and we're just going to go out there and see, what we can do. See if we can stretch it to a Game 7 again, but this time pull it out.
For now, Ginebra moves on battle-tested and alive after surviving one of the most thrilling quarterfinal finishes of the season. Reporting for the Scorecard, I'm Zeus Valdez, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Meanwhile, the Meralco Bolts advanced to the semifinals of the PBA Season 50 Philippine Cup after outlasting Rain or Shine 98-89. Chris Newsome led the way for Meralco with 31 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. With Rain or Shine's loss, Gabe Norwood also played his last game in the PBA, finishing his almost 2 decades of his career in the professional league. In boxing, Naoya Inoue put on another clinic Saturday night, dominating Alan Picasso by unanimous decision to headline the Ring 5 Night of the Samurai in Saudi Arabia. The undisputed junior featherweight champ stayed perfect at 32-0, earning a shutout on one scorecard and allowing Picasso to win just 4 rounds on the other 2. Suffering his first loss as a pro, Picasso praised Inoue's speed and explosiveness afterwards, saying the fight was tough, but insisting his dream of becoming a world champion is still alive. Despite the clear win, his 6th defense of the undisputed 122-pound title and already his 4th fight this year, Inoue was far from satisfied. Inoue admits he could have performed better and that he ended up exhausted after the 12-round encounter. The Monster plans to rest up before a potential May showdown with fellow unbeaten Japanese star Junto Nakatani. Meanwhile, Jonriel Casimero is making noise again, and he's doing it on Japanese soil. The former 3-time world champion scored a 5th-round TKO over Tom Mizukoshi on Saturday at the Aichi Sky Expo, dropping the overmatched opponent with a sharp 1-2 combination that ended the fight early. Casimero was never in trouble, improving his record to 35-5-1 with 24 knockouts. Now 36, Casimero continues to call out pound-for-pound star Naoya Inoue, though Inoue has largely brushed off the Filipino's online blabber. Also on the card, unbeaten prospect Kenneth Loverboy Llover capped off his year in style, stopping Ayati Sailike in the 2nd round to retain his OPBF bantamweight title. Llover moves to 17-0 with 12 knockouts and positions himself to a possible crack at a world crown next year. In volleyball, change is officially underway at Choco Mucho. The Flying Titans have announced the departures of 2 key players, middle blocker Aduke Ogunsanya and libero Pia General, as the franchise begins a long-anticipated roster reset. Ogunsanya exits after 3 seasons, bringing a championship pedigree from LaSalle and F2 Logistics. But injuries, including an ACL tear last year, limited her impact. General, meanwhile, wraps up a 1-year stint after arriving from Signal as part of a major personnel shuffle. The move comes after Choco Mucho missed the playoffs in 3 of the last 4 PVL conferences, including multiple bottom-tier finishes, forcing the Flying Titans to rethink their future. In tennis, SEA Games gold winner Alex Eala showed grit but came up short against world number 9 Mirra Andreeva, falling 4-6, 2-6 in their singles showdown at the Macau Tennis Masters on Sunday. The 18-year-old Andreeva took control early and pulled away in the 2nd set after a brief 2-all tie, dictating the tempo the rest of the way. It was a rematch years in the making. Eala previously beat Andreeva at the 2022 US Open Juniors, a run that ended with Eala winning the girls' singles title. In mixed doubles, Eala teamed up with Jerry Shang but dropped a close 7-5, 7-6 decision after Andreeva was sidelined by illness. Up next, Alex Eala returns in January at the Australian Open. John Cena's final match left a lasting impression, not just on fans, but on fellow wrestlers still weighing how to close their careers. Former WWE star Chaz Mosh, one half of the Headbangers, said watching John Cena say goodbye prompted him and longtime partner Thrasher to rethink their own retirement match. Mosh described Cena's farewell as a historic moment, one that showed how a career can be defined not just by titles, but by how it ends. The Headbangers have set their final match for July 2026. A decision Mosh said followed a wake-up call in the ring nearly a year ago. As his in-ring career nears its close, Mosh is sharing his 33-year journey through his new memoir, Beneath the Skirt, a memoir by Chaz Warrington, offering a look at the life beyond the cameras and the pressures wrestlers face behind the scenes. A legacy reflected, a farewell that resonated. For Chaz Mosh, John Cena's final match became a reminder that how you exit the ring can matter just as much as everything that came before. It was a statement night across the NBA as superstars took over, comebacks flipped the script, and contenders made their presence felt on Sunday's slate. In Inglewood, Kawhi Leonard turned back the clock, erupting for a career-high 55 points as the Los Angeles Clippers pulled away from Detroit 112-99, extending their win streak to 4. Leonard dominated both ends, adding 11 rebounds, 5 steals, and 3 blocks, as the Clippers rode experience and execution despite multiple absences. Across the hall, the Los Angeles Lakers snapped a 3-game skid, riding Luka Doncic's 34-point night and a vintage performance from LeBron James in a 125-101 win over Sacramento. James scored 24 on near-perfect shooting before exiting late with back discomfort, a moment that overshadowed an otherwise dominant team performance. In Washington, the Wizards stunned Memphis yet again, rallying from a double-digit deficit to win 116-112. Alex Sarr anchored a comeback, posting 20 points, 9 rebounds, and the career-high 6 blocks as Washington won back-to-back games for the first time this season. In Toronto, Scotty Barnes made history. The Raptors star recorded the first 2020 triple-double in franchise history with 23 points, 25 rebounds, and 10 assists as Toronto pulled away in overtime 141-127, handing Golden State a road loss. In Oklahoma City, the Thunder continued their quiet dominance. Chet Holmgren led the way with 29 points as OKC blew past Philadelphia 129-104. Outscoring the Sixers by 23 in the second half and extending their Eastern Conference streak to 23 straight wins. And in Portland, the Trailblazers delivered one of the night's biggest surprises, taking down Boston 114-108. Shaedon Sharpe and Denny Adlia combined for 50 points as Portland halted a 3-game skid and ended the Celtics' 4-game winning run. From career nights to statement wins and late-game execution, the NBA never fails to deliver. Naoya Inoue just delivered another monster showing in Saudi Arabia and now has his sights set on a potential blockbuster showdown with fellow unbeaten Japanese champion Junto Nakatani next year. But is Jonriel Casimero pushing his case after a recent knockout win? The question now is where that leaves the Filipino contender in Inoue's crowded title picture. Attorney Ed Tolentino will join us later to discuss that matter when we return right here on The Scorecard. Welcome back to The Scorecard. Naoya Inoue has once again lived up to his monster billing, dazzling in Saudi Arabia and setting the stage for a possible all-Japanese super fight with Junto Nakatani next year. But with Filipino contender Jonriel Casimero making fresh noise after a knockout win, we ask, where does he fit into Inoue's increasingly crowded title picture? Joining us to discuss the issue is attorney Ed Tolentino. Partner, good evening!
Good evening, partner, at magandang gabi po sa lahat ng tumatangkilik sa iyong programa.
Eto na nga, attorney, bagong usap-usapan ngayon sa mundo ng boxing, Inoue, Casimero. This has been a fight that has been floated for about 2 years now. What is the possibility of this finally happening in 2026?
Well, right now, the possibility of Casimero fighting Inoue next year, well, it's a long shot. You know, it's like asking me to date the reigning Miss Universe. It may not even happen right now. You know, Casimero was supposed to fight Inoue in April 2020 when he was still the bantamweight champion. COVID-19 knocked out that match. And then in the last 5 years, Casimero just fell, way behind Naoya Inoue. He lost the bantamweight title on the scales. He struggled. And with the weight issue, of course, he was banned in Japan for 1 year. That really lowered his stock. Right now, he's back, fresh off a knockout win. We're happy to see Casimero back, but it's a long way. Fully booked po itong si Naoya Inoue. He's fighting in May 2026 at the Tokyo Dome against Junto Nakatani, the biggest fight in Japan. And then there are rumors that Jesse Bam Rodriguez is also going to move up. A lot of fighters are lining up for Naoya Inoue. And right now, Casimero is not on the top of the list. He has to fall in line as far as fighting Inoue is concerned. He can come up with all these blabbers, all this, tough talk. But, it's just saliva. It's just saliva. He has to have a belt. He has to have a credible win. So malayo pa yon, malayo pa. Although he's talking about fighting Luis Neri in his next fight, that's a very good fight if it does happen for Casimero. He has to really be active in the ring. If you want to attract Naoya Inoue, you have to get in some wins against big names. That's something has to happen for Casimero if he is to merit attention from Naoya Inoue.
Inoue is 32 years old and I read something recently from The Ring magazine at ang sinabi sa The Ring is that Inoue is ranked number 4 in terms of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the first quarter of this century. At ang kasama sa listahan na yon ahead of Inoue, Manny Pacquiao, Bernard Hopkins, and Floyd Mayweather Jr. Is he that good, Attorney Ed? Ganun ba kagaling si Inoue that he's ranked in those 4 big names as the top 4?
Medyo bloated. Medyo masyadong exag. I have to be honest. He's good. Right now, he's the most dominant fighter in the lower weight divisions. Imagine fighting 4 times within a year, something that has never happened since 1983. Very rare na kasi yung mga kampiyon na nagdidepensa ng ganung karami. Pero yung mga opposition niya, medyo questionable pa rin. May mga ilang kalaban siya na talagang medyo hindi ganun ka-impressive. And remember, he was knocked down by Luis Neri. He was knocked down by Ramon Cardenas. So may mga vulnerable points din itong si Naoya Inoue. And then he's been fighting mostly in Japan. People say he refuses to go out. Although, tumabas na siya sa Saudi Arabia. So hindi niya wala pa siya doon sa talagang level in my opinion. Although he's getting there, he's dominant right now. Pero alam mo, wala pa siya nakakalaban na para bang Ali Fraser. Wala pa siya ganun ka-kontrapelo eh. We thought it was John Rell when John Rell was younger, 5 years ago. Yun ang hinahanap natin eh. What made Ali the greatest was Fraser. Meron silang kontrapelo talaga. Wala pa tayo nakikitang ganun dito kay Naoya Inoue. He's good, yes, he's dominant right now. But to mention him in the same breath, Mayweather, Pacquiao, Hopkins, I think that's another level.
Attorney, meron ka bang nakikita na who could be that guy, that fighter that could create a mega fight with Inoue as part of that matchup?
Well, right now, the biggest match within the realm of possibility is a fellow Japanese, Junto Nakatani. Nakatani is elongated, tall, good puncher also. So he will test itong si Naoya Inoue. And this fight is really happening. Matangkad po yung Nakatani, almost 5'9", mahaba ang reach. Kumbaga, he has the tools na tukuran itong si Inoue. And he has the power to hurt Inoue. So this will be a very highly anticipated match in May 2026 at the Tokyo Dome. Right now, many see Nakatani as the one who can give Inoue a serious run for his money. Ito within the realm of possibility itong laban na ito. Mangyayari po talaga ito. So ito muna ang tingnan natin because in my opinion, Nakatani is good although he struggled in the undercard of the fight of Inoue and Picasso. The thing is, it's going to be a great fight because this time Inoue will be tested.
Attorney Inoue said in his last fight against Picasso na it wasn't his best performance, wasn't too happy about it. In fact, late in the fight, sinabi niya he felt fatigued. Ikaw personally, what did you see from watching that fight? Ano yung mga posibleng kahinaan or areas for improvement ni Inoue?
Well, actually, napaka-impressive niya dito kay Picasso, no? Ang kalaban niya po ay Picasso ang apelyido. But it is Inoue who turned in a Picasso-like performance. A work of art yung kanyang boxing lesson na in-administer dito kay Picasso ng Mexico. You look at the hand speed, look at the way he varies his punches, and you can see the evolution of Inoue. Medyo nagiging boxer na siya ngayon, ha? Dati, puncher lang, pasok ng pasok, masyadong kumpiyansa, nauhuli siya coming in. Pero tinan mo, ha? Punch combination, step back. Ang ganda ng kanyang depensa ngayon. So, he's evolving into a better all-around boxer. Yan ang pinakita niya dito kay Picasso. Sabi nga natin, work of art, boxing art, and look at that, Picasso's face being the canvas. Ano? Lumaban yung Picasso, pero nakita mo, ang layo ng diferensya sa palitan. Yung dami ng suntok, parang peso-dollar exchange. Ano ba yun? 51, di ba? So, nakita mo, look at the way he varies his punches. Hindi ito bara-barang suntok, ha? Ito'y calculated. Bodega, katawan, ulo, the angles. So, this is a way better. Kung sinasabi ni Inoue na hindi pa siya satisfied sa performance na ito after nearly pitching a shutout, oh my God, imagine kung ano pa ang pwede niyang ibigay sa ibabaw ng boxing ring. Although yes, admittedly he's tired. Very rare. 4 na defenses within a year. And his fight, of course, outside his comfort zone. Hindi ito Japan. So, may konting pagod talaga. But then again, that was a brilliant display. A boxing masterclass displayed by Naoya Inoue against Picasso. It's a very good performance in my opinion.
Partner, for a last question, balikan natin itong si Cuadro Alas. Because sinabi mo nga na medyo malayo pa bago niya makatapat, possibly, itong si Inoue. What do you see him doing in 2026 that may propel him to putting his name back in title contender status?
Well, maraming angulo para kay John Rell, ano? He's fighting at featherweight. Kung gusto niya lumaban sa featherweight, 126 pounds. Inoue fights at 122. Now, if John Rell, dahil alam natin may mga weight issues siya, medyo baka mas komportable siya sa featherweight 126. I'd like to see him go for a title in that division. Kasi para pag umakyat si Inoue, because Inoue is contemplating on moving up in weight next year, makasungkit si John Rell ng isang titulo sa featherweight. There is no way na pwede siya iwasan ni Inoue. Lalaban si Inoue because this time, John Rell would have a world title around his waist. Yun ang pinaka-main attraction eh. Yun ang pinaka-magnet para kay John Rell. If he wants Inoue to fight him, enough with the blabber, the verbal abuse, get a title. That will merit the attention of Naoya Inoue. Pero mabigat po ang featherweight division. Magagaling po ang mga kampiyon dyan sa weight class na yan. Kumbaga, umuna na si Casimero sa featherweight, kumuha siya ng titulo para pag akyat ni Inoue, ay may titulo ko, dadaan ka sa akin ngayon. Ganyan ang mangyayari dyan. Because if he goes down to 122, and he struggled at 122 in getting that weight. Diyan nga siya nasuspend eh. Hindi niya maabot eh. Nagkakaproblema siya eh. So, if he goes down, fully booked si Inoue at 122. Marami pa siya makakalaban doon. Unahan na niya sa featherweight itong si Inoue. Para pag-akit ni Inoue, nandun na si John Rell, naghihintay with the title.
Sana nanonood si Cuadro Alas and he takes your advice, Attorney Ed. As always, partner, excellent analysis. Thank you so much for the time here on the Scorecard.
Always a pleasure, Anton. Happy New Year po sa inyong lahat.
Happy New Year, Attorney Ed Tolentino. Mabuhay ka. All right, it's time to keep your eyes on the prize. Tomorrow, two teams at very different points In their journey collide, the San Antonio Spurs hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers, a matchup that goes beyond the standings and straight into the heart of where both franchises are headed. These two teams have already seen each other once this season, and Cleveland had the upper hand. In their previous match, the Cavaliers pulled away late for a 130-117 win over the Spurs. It was a game decided by momentum and a decisive third quarter. Donovan Mitchell led the charge with 28 points and 8 assists, setting the tempo and pushing defensive breakdowns. Jalen Tyson added 24 points, including 16 in the third quarter as Cleveland broke the game open. Now, San Antonio, they stayed competitive but struggled to slow Cleveland once the Cavs found rhythm in the half court. Now, the rematch shifts to San Antonio and the context looks different. The Spurs entered this game as one of the surprise contenders of the season, sitting near the top of the Western Conference, averaging over 120 points per game with improved defensive efficiency and growing confidence. And at the center of it all is Victor Wembanyama, the alien, whose two-way impact continues to redefine what this team can be night in and night out. For Cleveland, though, this is about consistency, proving that the first win was not just about timing, but about identity. Now, as the Spurs continue to win, trade season has begun to circle San Antonio, and one name has generated plenty of intrigue. Klay Thompson. Yes, a hypothetical floated by sports journalist Jake Rogers outlines a deal between San Antonio and the Dallas Mavericks built not on star power, but on timing. In that scenario, the Spurs would acquire Thompson and Dante Exum, while Dallas would receive Kelly Olynyk and Lindy Waters III. For San Antonio, the appeal is clear. Thompson wouldn't need to carry an offense. His value comes from spacing, off-ball movement, and championship experience. Skills that age better than athleticism. Placed next to Wembanyama, Thompson's gravity stretches the floor, simplifies reads, and fits playoff basketball. For Dallas, it's about flexibility, with Cooper Flag emerging as the future centerpiece, shedding long-term salary and maintaining optionality matters more than short-term scoring. Now, whether or not this deal ever happens, the Spurs are no longer acting like a rebuilding team. They are looking like a team wanting to contend for a championship. While San Antonio looks forward, Cleveland faces harder questions, starting with Darius Garland. According to reporting by Grant Afseth of Dallas Hoops Journal, there is growing belief around the league that Garland wants more responsibility and possibly his own team again. Sources suggest Garland is seen as someone who can handle a heavier offensive load rather than remaining a complementary piece next to Donovan Mitchell. Now, before Mitchell arrived, Garland was Cleveland's franchise guard, an all-star tasked with running the show. Since then, his role has shifted. Now, his production remains solid, over 17 points and 7 assists per game. But Mitchell's rise into the MVP conversation has clearly reshaped the hierarchy. With Cleveland hovering in uncertainty and pressure reportedly mounting on head coach Kenny Atkinson, league executives believe change could be coming. Teams like the Sacramento Kings and the Minnesota Timberwolves have been linked as possible suitors, franchises in need of a true playmaking guard to reset their trajectory. So, when the Spurs and Cavaliers tip off tomorrow, it's more than a rematch. It's a contrast in direction. One team surging with purpose, another deciding what comes next. One game on the schedule, but a moment that reflects two very different futures. And here's the full breakdown for the matchups tomorrow. And with that, thank you for joining us. We'll see you again on the Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. This is Anton Roxas. Have a blessed week ahead.